Hi, welcome to your weekly normal scheduling. Normal program.
For today's cup of coffee, we have an excuse for being like we are.
Yeah.
For this point in life. For the next couple of days, we have an excuse.
Sort of.
And
Sort of.
what we're going to be talking about today is very timely.
And it goes with this photo.
It does. And we're going to be talking about full moon madness, also known as
Don't moon
lunacy.
someone.
Lunacy. And since there's no frontal nudity and these people that show a whole lot worse,
It's just an ass.
we're hoping. There's a lot of people that are asses out there. There really are.
Yeah, that's true.
But this has been something that I have studied on and off for many years, as well as other people. And the word lunatic, it says it's an antiquated term referring to someone who is seen as mentally ill, dangerous, foolish, or crazy. But it was once attributed to lunacy.
Okay.
And the word derives from lunacious, which means of the moon or moonstruck. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
There's some of us that still use it. I don't know. I guess I speak in an antiquated way.
I ain't gonna say nothing.
Anyhow, as far as the history, it says the horoscope of a lunatic, according to an astrologer who describes how the positions of the planets of Saturn and Mars, with respect to the moon, cause diseases of the mind. Now, this comes from Wikipedia, and as far as their citations, I don't know. This goes back, as far as the horoscopes, this goes back to Latin and all that stuff. Well, it says here, I should have let them continue. The term lunatic derives from the Latin word lunacius, which originally referred mainly to epilepsy and madness.
Okay.
Well, yeah, as diseases thought to be caused by the moon. The King James Version of the Bible records a lunatic in the Gospel of Matthew, which has been interpreted as a reference to epilepsy. By the 4th and 5th centuries, astrologers were commonly using the term to refer to neurological and psychiatric diseases. Philosophers such as Aristotle and Pliny the Elder argued that the full moon induced insane individuals with bipolar disorder by providing light during nights which would otherwise have been dark, and affecting susceptible individuals through the well-known route of sleep deprivation. Until at least 1700, it was also a common belief that the moon influenced fevers, rheumatism, episodes of epilepsy, and other diseases. Whoever wrote that, I don't know why they wrote that like that. I would question some of that.
That's asinine, the way that they wrote it.
Well, yeah, and it's like one of those that I had a really, really hard time. I went through 2 or 3 topics, nothing set right with me until this. So it was like trying to find something. It is.
Considering when is the full moon? It's in a couple of weeks, isn't it?
No.
Couple days?
And on the 19th.
Oh, so it's in a couple of days.
Yeah, well, when this airs, it will be the 18th.
So
That's very timely. That's why I was doing this.
Heck yeah.
And
right on time.
Oh yeah, and there is
Whatever.
By Laura Selby. And I would have given you the website, except I forgot to put the website on that one. But I will put it.
She'll put it in the description box.
I will. And it says full moon madness in the ER, myth or reality. And she writes, through the centuries, the full moon has been associated with an array of strange phenomena, from witchcraft and werewolves to spikes in crime, traffic accidents, and hospital admission rates.
Okay.
Does the full moon really correlate to a rise in emergency room visits? Now, they're just focusing on the ER on this one.
Yeah.
Anecdotal evidence may say yes, but so far research hasn't documented a strong link.
Party.
The science.
Great. We love that.
Yes, because the science is God.
We're not saying distrust all science.
Right, but be, on some of it. I'm sorry, but the way that the science has been manipulated and
Just medical
used
science.
against the people. I don't know. There's a lot of other science.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that, like I said, when I found out that NOAA had fudged their data to meet the agenda, that broke my heart. It honestly did.
is
It broke
heartbreaking.
my heart.
It really is heartbreaking.
So after that, it's sort of like, I look at all of them with, extreme skepticism. Okay, it says that a 2011 study published in the World Journal of Surgery found that more than 40% of medical staff believe that lunar phases can affect human behavior, even though most studies find no direct correlation between the full moon and hospital admission rates. In the view of many ER physicians, however, including AOA President John W. Beecher, D.O., full moon madness is a real phenomenon. Dr. Beecher, who has practiced emergency medicine for nearly 40 years, recalled his experiences as chairman of emergency services at Atlanticare Regional Medical Center in Atlantic City, New Jersey, where he is currently director of osteopathic medical education. It seems like more unusual things happen when the moon is full, though I don't think I could ever prove it. Adjacent to the center's emergency department is an 11-bed psychiatric emergency center. Dr. Beecher says you could almost tell the phase of the moon by how crowded that area of the ED was. Anytime the moon was full, that area was overflowing, end quote. Paul Allegretti, D.O., agrees that the emergency department seems busier when the moon is full. He's the program director for the emergency medicine residency at Midwestern University, Chicago College of Osteopathic Medicine, in Downers Grove, Illinois. Quote, I think people are sicker and it seems like more unusual things happen when the moon is full, though I don't think I could ever prove it, he says. Eric Moon, D.O., an emergency room physician at St. Bernard Hospital in Chicago, has worked exclusively nights since he began practicing 12 years ago. Well, that's very fitting now, isn't it?
Very
Quote,
fitting.
for as long as I've worked in the emergency department, whenever there was a full
What the
moon,
fuck is wrong with people?
invariably someone will make a comment about how it's going to be a rough night, end quote, he says. But Dr. Moon says chalking up eventful night shifts to the full moon is an incorrect assumption of cause and effect. Quote, we frequently have crazy nights in the emergency room when the moon is full because that's just the nature of the ER no matter what phase the moon is in, unquote, he explains.
Loves it. Okay.
So they always have to have a skeptic.
Apparently.
And then...
Why?
Because...
For what reason?
See that picture right there? That explains
Makes an
our
ass out of
world.
yourself.
Well, that explains our world in the moment.
Yeah. You're right. You're right on that.
Then we have from space.com, and this is by Elizabeth Howell. Beaver Moon Lunar Eclipse 2021. When, where, and how to see it, November 19th. And this will be the longest partial lunar eclipse in nearly 600 years.
Holy hell.
And she says on November 19th, a partial lunar eclipse will reward patient sky observers with a view of a subtly changing moon. And it's a must-see event as it's the last lunar eclipse of the year. And I'm just going to go through here and paraphrase. The last time that this happened was 1441. So it's
That's
like
been a hot
500
minute.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool on that.
Yeah.
This one will last for 3 hours, 28 minutes, and 24 seconds. And let's see. Yeah. The partial eclipse phase will last that, and then the full eclipse phase will last for 6 hours and 1 minute. So it's
Okay.
going to be, but it's still going to be in the wee hours of the morn.
Yeah.
So you'll have to get up to do that. And it is going to be a blood moon. Yeah.
Party.
Isn't
Great.
it though?
Loves
Isn't
it.
it? And as far as you will have excellent visibility across the Americas and much of Asia and parts of Europe and West Africa. So that's a whole lot now. Yeah, that's a whole lot of the Earth right there. I guess Antarctica ought to be doing pretty good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mythology about eclipses, which apparently, I was on this for hours, for real.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes all the way back to Babylonian and the different things like that. And people have forgotten so much that it's ridiculous. Now, I did go on to a Vedic astrology website, which was very informative. Vedic astrology is usually from India, and they have a different form of astrology.
Yeah.
And in their belief system, people are not supposed to go out in the time of an eclipse. And as far as like circadian rhythms and stuff like that, that can screw that up.
Yeah, that is proven. Like, it is difficult.
Absolutely.
I find it more difficult to go to sleep and stay asleep during a full moon.
That's exactly
before and
right.
after.
That's exactly what a lot of people had said did happen. With this partial lunar eclipse, I mean, there's just a sliver that will not be eclipsed.
Yeah.
And it'll be followed 2 weeks later by a total solar eclipse on December the 4th. That was one of the ones that you have to watch for even more as far as the lunar eclipses.
Yeah.
And as somebody who has worked in the corrections industry, medical industry, and as far as psychiatric industry, I can tell you it's not a matter of confirmation bias. It wasn't a matter of confirmation bias or idiocy for the thousands of years that people studied this.
Yeah.
And for
I don't
them,
know much about that sort of thing because I haven't looked into the studies on it and anything like that. But
the studies, the recent studies of it, skepticism. It's like, it's all bullshit. Let them go into some of these places on these nights and see. And it's not just the night of the full moon. You also have a few days before there. You have a few days after that, because that energy, it's building.
Yeah.
And then it starts waning. So, and a lot of times people look at stuff and they don't know what the hell they're looking at.
That's true. That is true.
But it just...
Blissful ignorance.
Well, it's all a matter of frequency and energy, and they don't believe in that either.
That is, yeah. You are right on that, too.
That's the thing about astrology, and I've been rebuked by scientists before because, as far as the astrology.
But it's true.
Yes.
What goes into astrology is true.
Sure. Well, it's just like...
It's not just a bunch of like, the signs, blah, 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 blah. No, it goes deeper than that.
Well, it's always... You've always had those arrogant few when somebody came up and said, hey, let's think about this. This really may, change the way that we think of things. They don't want the way that they think of things to be changed, because then that would sort of shake their God status.
And heaven forbid someone do that.
Oh, I think it just,
Bitch slap them across the face on their God complex.
They need to be knocked off of their thrones.
They're high horses.
Yeah, and it's, some of these alignments and stuff that's coming up very well may do that.
We can only hope.
Well,
hope for the best.
Change is not always an easy thing, because those in positions of power do not want to relinquish them easily.
Yeah.
And I'm not forecasting or foretelling or prophesying anything as far as this, except that we are in a planetary alignment where it's be alert. Be alert.
I mean, you can look at the past history and how the planets aligned and what significant thing happened.
Absolutely.
Like, it was... Like, I think both world wars, it was like I don't remember what it was. It was planets. I think.
But it was similar to what we're coming into.
It was very harsh
right.
energy.
Well, you can feel the energy. There are certain people that are more sensitive to it.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell it screws my sleep cycle. Last
It screws
night,
mine up
oh
bad.
my God, I went to bed about 1:30. I was back up at 2 o'clock. I'm like, this ain't happening.
Yeah.
So I drank a cup of coffee, was able to sleep a couple of hours, and it's just been, crappy night followed by crappy day, and still, hopefully, tomorrow there are things we have to get done. Regardless how we feel.
Have to get out of having to go to another town to go to Walmart.
Right. But I will tell you this, from different astrologers and stuff that I have listened to for years and trust, this is not a time to imbibe in drugs or alcohol. Or over-imbibe, let me put it that way.
Yeah.
Because you want to be sober-minded, able to think clearly, quickly, different things like that. Always be aware of your surroundings.
Yeah.
Always.
Always.
And both of them had said for the next, I think, maybe 5 months, limit travel.
Well, it's a good thing that that I don't have any plans.
Right. Well, I mean, even as far as the other day, we were going to just our little tiny towns that are close to us, which is about 8 miles away one way.
Mm-hmm.
And stupid people, pulling out in front of you, totally oblivious. People in parking lots, we had 2 of them that was coming from different angles.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh no, we going back to the house.
Get your ass run over by Grandma.
And it's one of those that...
In her little SUV thing. Those things are huge.
Yeah, they are. And it's like I usually, for whatever reason, am a forerunner before the other people it hits. I don't know why that. It's always been like that. And
it's because
so
I have gifts we do not possess.
Have been in hermit mode worse than I have ever been in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, that doesn't show any signs of stopping. And it's
I'm fine with being in hermit.
Yeah, we try to go out. We take Mom out a couple of times a week just to get her out of the house and stuff. But other than that,
it's a time for us to get out too.
Sure, it's a little bit of a family time there. But as far as getting things once a week, usually, sometimes twice, depending on what needs to. As far as large shopping trips, probably like twice a month, so that we don't have to get out.
Well, my shopping trip is going to involve me going into the toy aisle to search for brats again.
Well, that is your personal quest.
It is my personal quest.
But even
because I can't find Yasmin on Amazon anymore. So even that's worrying.
As far as, I don't know, I guess it goes into OCD on this too. Anyhow.
Loves it. Let me get overwhelmed.
So with this, just be prepared. I don't know that it's a bad thing to be called a lunatic as long as you don't act like one.
As long as you're respectful as a lunatic,
So...
You're not doing anything to harm other people. I think you're good.
Oh, well, the professor that I had... Now, he did not teach me as far as the abnormal psychology. I'd already had that, but that was his preference, was teaching abnormal psychology. And maybe he did. I don't know. I know he had narcolepsy. But he said...
What is that? Okay.
And narcolepsy, if he fell asleep during the class, you didn't know what to do. You didn't know whether to holler at him or nudge him or
hey, you're in the middle of the class. Did he just pass out?
We would just sit there and look at each other. No, he would just doze off. It's narcolepsy. You've seen dogs and stuff that have that. Yeah. Same thing in people, only he didn't fall over. Or at least not the time that I was there.
Did you know the fainting goats actually have like a form of narcolepsy?
Yes, I did.
That's why they just faint if they either get overexcited. Like seriously, if they're like super super happy, they can faint from that. Yeah. It's not just when they're scared.
They're from a specific place in Tennessee, I do believe, aren't they?
Mm-hmm, but we can get some fainting goats if
God
we
love
want
them. I don't need that extra stress. But anyhow,
you don't know if they had a heart attack and just fell over or what.
Anyhow, this professor, he had said that you could be as crazy as you wanted to be. As long as when you were in public that you could act relatively normal.
Yeah. I mean, when we go out, we're pretty much normal, although our banter does turn a few heads once in a while.
Oh, this is just how we are all the time.
That's what I was saying. Like, literally, when we were at Walmart the last time, we were checking out, like, me and you were having our usual thing, and someone turned their head and be like, oh, he's really talking to his mama like that? And it's like, I'm not being disrespectful.
They don't understand the dynamics of the relationship here.
No.
And there have been times that you, every now and then, you cross a line, and I let you know very quickly.
Yeah.
And, you know, so that's okay. But it's like...
But most of the time, if we're, like, usually we play argue.
Exactly. And people don't understand that. They don't know how to play anymore. Mm-mm. So, it's one of those that because it will be in the wee hours of the morn when the eclipse happens. And, the Vedic people, if they want to go hide in the house, that's okay. But I don't know that other cultures have done that. Asleep. Now, but now I will tell you something as far as I don't know what the trajectory of the solar eclipse will be. Mm-hmm. That one time, and I mean, it was eerie.
Like an evil
It was eerie. We were there. I don't know where you were, but we were there at Mom's, and your brother was the one. He's like, we need to go in the house. I mean, and for him to be unnerved by anything, like that, it was that kind of energy, just odd.
Well, that's scary.
Well, yeah. Well, that was then. We don't know I'll have to study up on this.
It predicted what we're going through right now.
Oh, yeah. And it was
That's
just
what
like...
it was.
People were going on about the other blood moons and the significance of them and stuff. And they're like, nothing happened. And I'm like, have you read a newspaper lately?
I hope this blood moon actually brings good fortune and good luck and, like, just peace for once, finally.
Well, the peace will come, but not for a while. And sometimes...
Not for 5 months.
As when people forget what peace is and what it took to achieve peace, mm-hmm. Yeah. And now I saw earmarkings of this years ago. So, and it's like if we were deployed here during this time to do whatever needs to be done, and people need to make their choices and make sure they're on the right side.
Absolutely, we do.
So...
Wait, if we were not supposed to travel for the next 5 months, what am I going to do if I start selling shit?
Post office.
I'll still have to drive to the post office. That's what I'm saying. Like, no travels. Whatever.
Well, no. I mean, even then you have to be careful. Now, statistically, for real, most accidents occur 5 miles away from your home.
That's more than 5 miles. That's about 8.
No.
It's not 8 miles to...
No, not to the tiny town that's closest to us. The next tiny town over is 8 miles.
Okay.
So.
My bad.
One way. Yeah. It's all right. So prepare yourself.
Imagine if we had to walk that shit. That's horrible.
Yeah, that would not be fun. Yeah. Just watch your P's and Q's. Do self-check. Watch other people's.
Self-check.
Absolutely. Because you don't want to be one of these people that's on this picture.
Don't go with the jackasses.
Yeah. You don't have to.
Don't be one of the jackasses.
We've got our quota. Do something else.
Yeah.
If you've had experiences with paranormal, supernatural encounters with UFOs, aliens, cryptids, lunatics, if you have regional, local family myths, legends, everybody goes insane from time to time.
Jackasses.
Well, yeah.
Have you had experiences with jackasses? We know you do.
If you've had experiences with strippers.
These ain't strippers.
No, those could be just regulars.
Oh.
Now, I could tell about the time that I went to see, the male
Chippendales.
They were not Chippendales. They was all right, but the male strippers, women watch strippers totally different than men do. It was a hoot. It really was. Yeah. So I have lived. There
to gawk and joke. I
have lived. So anyhow, send us an email at cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com. And the movie The Full Monty is a great
Never
movie.
Seen it.
It's a great movie.
Never seen it.
So that would be a perfect thing to watch during the full moon.
I'm going to be watching Finding Nemo during the full moon.
Good God. Anyhow, you all have a beautiful, blessed day.
Yes.
Thank you for spending time with us. Hopefully having some laughter with us and sharing coffee. Know that you're loved. And we'll see you on the next cup.
Don't forget to like, comment, share, and most of all, subscribe.
Bye.
Don't be a jackass. Don't get in with the jackasses.